Hello, my friends. A lot of people are excited about the fact that Donald Trump won the election. He is headed back to the White House. And then there's a lot of people that are very sad. They're upset that Donald Trump won. Well, whether we're upset or whether we're happy, we have to move forward. The next 4 years, Donald Trump is going to be our president. So what I want to talk about today is the benefits of a Trump presidency. Let's talk about stock market opportunities. Well, if you follow the stock market, and whether you follow it or not, I'm sure everybody noticed that the day after the election, the stock market took off. The Dow went over 1,000 points because business was excited about Donald Trump being in office. Donald Trump is pro-business. So the stock market got excited and it went up. Your 401ks went up because of it. So there are some benefits, and that's what I want to talk about today. All right, so number one, Trump is pro-oil. So some of the stocks that you might be interested in or might want to invest in would be ExxonMobil and Chevron. His saying is drill, baby, drill. So he's excited. Now, on the other side of that, some of the stocks such as stocks that are dealing with solar and things like that, they may not fare as well. We have to see what happens. Now, Trump just formed this alliance with Tesla's owner, Elon Musk. So we're going to see where that goes because Elon Musk is pro, alternative energy, pro solar. So we're going to see where that goes. The second thing is bank deregulation. Trump believes that banks, the financial institutions are too heavily regulated. So you may want to look at companies like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan Chase. They've already gone up a little bit since Trump won the election, and a lot of people are thinking that they're going to continue to go up in value. Trump is also pro-crypto. Bitcoin took off the day after the election. And a lot of people are thinking it's going to hit at least $120,000 per Bitcoin. So looking at Bitcoin, looking at Coinbase, some of the altcoins, Dogecoin and all those things, they normally follow Bitcoin. And Bitcoin went up and, those altcoins also rose a little bit. So look at those items. Another area, Trump is pro-defense. He wants to make this country, and I support this, strong militarily. So some of the companies that are into defense, such as Lockheed Martin or the GEO Group. The GEO Group is a company that supports all the immigration process. They support prison systems. That's what they specialize in. So look at some of those things to maybe add to your portfolio, and you might see some benefits because of Trump. I think he's going to do some things and it's going to benefit this country. One of the negatives, or let me just slow down here a little bit, some of the potential negatives that we may experience with Trump, and I can say this because, he was president between 2016 and 2020. Controversy in the United States versus abroad. When Trump was in office, it's true that there were no major wars going on abroad in Europe or the Ukraine war. There was really nothing going on over there. But, 2020, the Democrats got in office and all of a sudden we had the Ukraine war. Now we have the Israel-Iran war. We have China looking to, possibly go into Taiwan. You have North Korea trying to get involved in the Ukraine war. There's so much going on over there. And one of my fears is that if we get into a war, I have children, I have grandchildren that are of military age, and that terrifies me. I'm concerned about that. So, but one of the negatives I said is that we have controversy here. When Trump was in office, we had a lot of riots. We had a lot of, police abuse. Trump has a history, and I'm not bashing him too much, but Trump has a history of being controversial. He has a history of saying whatever comes out of his mouth, and a lot of times it's negative, and people follow that. People adopt his way of behaving, which is not good for this country. Thus, all the conflict, the inner conflict that we had, racial conflict, conflict between police and communities. And I hope that you will support us being a peaceful nation, loving each other, and not support the rhetoric and the stuff that he promotes often. The next thing is the debt crisis. We are approaching $36 trillion of debt. Our debt to GDP ratio is approximately 124%. There's only one other country that I'm aware of that has had that debt to GDP ratio, and they have survived as a country, and that's Japan. Countries that are this much in debt often see their demise. You look at countries like Venezuela and Turkey, their equivalent to $1 has dwindled to nothing, which basically means inflation. In Venezuela, a loaf of bread could have cost $100. And we've never seen that here. So a lot of us believe that can't happen, but it can happen here. And if we don't turn this around with this debt, we will see it. The dollar will lose value. Inflation will shoot high. In the early 80s, I remember when mortgage interest rates were 16 and 17%. That's not what we want. That is extreme inflation, and it can happen again. It will make those that are broke even broker. All right? Congress. It looks like we have lost Congress. The House and the Senate. Trump is unstoppable. Anything that the Republicans want, for the most part, they're going to get. Why? Because the Democratic Party was pushing issues that they should not have been pushing. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the Supreme Court being imbalanced. Well, I think it is imbalanced, is leaning towards the conservative approach now, and God forbid something happened to one of our Supreme Court justices and Trump's allowed to put somebody else in, it may be beyond repair. I would love to see Supreme Court justices having a term limit, serve 5, 10 years and they're out. Or each president gets to pick a Supreme Court justice so that we can kind of keep it balanced between the Democratic view and the Republican view. We don't want to go to an extreme left or right. All right, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this content. Please like, subscribe, and share. Be blessed.